Will anyone else attempt to fill his shoes?
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're going to be checking out the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Galvatron, which is yet another repaint of the War for Cybertron version, although as we whack up an image of the original character model, I would be lying if I didn't say that this was the best that mainline Galvatron has ever looked. And one of the many reasons why I do think he's a repaint is take the 86 movie Hot Rod for example. That figure is so near damn perfection to the point where, with the exception of a masterpiece, I don't think we ever need to see an update again, and the same can really be said for this Galvatron. If something's not broken, why fix it? So as we check out the details, the face sculpt is exactly the same as the previous version, although I still think looks pretty damn killer. But much like the 86 movie Springer, I don't think it would have hurt for them to have maybe tweaked the expression. But the chest plate looks super cool, and I really like some of the traits which are a direct carryover from the design of Unicron. The legs also perfectly sum up the overall build of this guy. These are incredibly chunky and super comparable to the 86 movie Optimus Prime. He really does just feel incredibly well made. And you know what, even the back ain't slacking. If we were to again whack up an image of how Galvatron appeared in that OG G1 cartoon, for the most part almost everything you see here is near enough spot on. And as we check out Galvatron's accessories, up first we do see the return of this newly upgraded Fusion Cannon, which may just be the biggest money shot of this entire release. When it comes down to animation accuracy, this appears to be a big improvement in comparison to the original version. The second set of accessories are a pair of handheld weapons, which can also be combined to form a much larger railgun. Now these are actually super cool because these are designed after Galvatron's Revenge, which was the ship that Unicron gifted to the newly reformatted Decepticons. And the final accessory may just be the most important out of the bunch, that being the legendary Matrix of Leadership, which was something that Galvatron fought so dearly for in order to free himself from slavery.
See this? The Matrix!
Now, sliding into Galvatron's posability, to begin with, the head is on a ball joint, so this can look up, down, tilt side to side, and can be spun left to right. The shoulders can kick forwards and backwards, and they're out to the side. The bicep can spin, although the underarm treads are honestly a little clunky. The elbows can bend way past 90 due to this supreme double joint, and the wrist can rotate, although unfortunately, again, unlike the 86 movie Springer, this guy does not include opening hands, which does kinda suck, especially as he does include that Matrix of Leadership. The waist can be spun both side to side, the hips can kick forwards and backwards, and they're out to the side. The thigh can spin, and despite the knee only packing a 90-degree bend, you are still able to get this guy into some pretty wicked poses. And seeing as this guy was originally a War for Cybertron figure, he packs an incredible range when it comes down here to the ankle rocker. But at this point, I'm sure you guys will know the drill. To see how much of an upgrade Galvatron is from Megatron, let's now put him through the pose test. And as we fly through some comparisons, on the right hand side we have the original Transformers Kingdom Galvatron. Hands down, the brand new Studio Series version is a lot closer to how Galvatron did appear in that original 86 movie. Although, if we were to compare this guy against some previous leaders, this guy does not include any new parts at all. If I had it my way, these are the things that I would change. I would definitely give this guy a brand new faceplate. I would also give him fully articulated hands, and I also think I would have extended the back spike, again just to better match the animation model. So taking all of that into account, guys, for those of you who already own the Transformers Kingdom version, then right now I would absolutely recommend to stick with it, because I just do not think the repaint justifies an additional $55. And for those of you who don't own Galvatron, then most definitely wait for this guy to go on clearance, because if this version was anything to go by, that is absolutely where I think he will end up. But stacked up against Optimus Prime, there is no denying in saying that this comparison absolutely slaps. These make for great equivalents to each other, and guys, I'm now just so excited for the inevitable 86 movie Megatron, because if it is anywhere near as good as these two, then we are going to be in for an absolute treat. Next up, we have what could be considered as the infamous Coronation Starscream. But you know what guys, even this figure came packing with brand new opening hands, something which this Galvatron is massively lacking.
Another repaint Starscream? This is bad comedy.
The legendary Voyager class Hot Rod, and for those of you who have checked out the ending of the 86 movie, you guys know that this comparison is absolutely essential, because Galvatron is arguably what caused Hot Rod to grab a hold of the Matrix of Leadership to light our darkest hour. Then finally, the Studio Series 86 Deluxe class Bumblebee, and I'm sorry to say, but B does not stand a chance going up against Galvatron. He appears to be an absolute beast. Now, checking out Galvatron's transformation, he is actually incredibly well engineered. So for the first step, take the fist, slide this inwards, and then what you'll do is snap that tab into that slot. So make use out of those double jointed elbows and click that section there into place. You'll then take the tank tread, pull this here around to the front, and then slide it in at a slight angle so that this can then connect with the forearm to create something which should be looking like this. Again guys, let's be sure to do the same for that second side. So take the fist, slide this inside the forearm, take the forearm and snap this here into Galvatron's shoulders. You'll then take that tank tread, pull this here forwards and snap this here into place, so that right now Galvatron should be rocking two full-blown tank arms. Then for the next step, spin down here to the underside, where we are firstly going to grab a hold of these heel spurs and snap these here into the base. Again guys, be sure to do the same for that second side. Then what you'll do is spin around here to the side of Galvatron, where we are now going to take a hold of these panels, pull these around from the back and snap these here into the side of the legs. Again, spin around here to this side and do exactly the same. Then for the next step, take the side hip skirts, angle these here forwards and then hinge them here upwards. Then what you'll do is spin around here to the back of Galvatron, where you'll now take the backpack, detach it away from this entire section, and then what you'll do is grab a hold of this back spike and pull this here backwards until this does snap there into place. Then for the next step, spin back round here to the front, where we are now going to take a hold of the shoulders and firstly pull these here downwards. Then what you'll do is proceed to extend these here outwards and collapse these all the way down, so that right now they should be looking something like this. Again, be sure to do the same for the second side. So grab a hold of those shoulders, first of all proceed to pull these here down and then extend them all of the way out and then collapse them downwards. Then for the next step, spin around here to the side of Galvatron, where we are now going to take this component. You are going to want to pop this bad boy open. You'll then take a hold of the entire chest unit and pop this here forwards. Now the aim of the game is to then take a hold of the chest plate, pull this here upwards until eventually Galvatron's head does slide inside this cavity. Then for the next step, take a hold of that chest plate and independently pull this here forwards. You'll then take this section and snap this here back into place. We can then take the entire torso and extend this forwards by making use out of this double hinge joint. At this point, we can then take this section, flip this here forwards, and then what you'll do is spin down here to the legs. So we are going to take these, swivel around at the thigh so that the back of the legs are now facing inwards, and then you'll proceed to combine these here directly down the middle. So that right now, Galvatron definitely looks to be a little unusual. Then for the next step, make use out of those hip joints, and the aim of the game here is to slide those tabs into some slots which are on the underside of the backpack. So snap that section there into place. Then what you'll do is spin around here to the underside of Galvatron. Now that tab is going to slide into that slot, and that tab there is going to slide into the chest plate. So pull this here forwards and proceed to click that section there into place. Once that's complete, one of my all-time favourite parts of the transformation would be where the hip skirts do seamlessly integrate into the design. So again guys, be sure to do the same for that second side. Then what you'll do is spin around here to the back. You're now going to take a hold of what were originally Galvatron's feet and extend these here downwards. Then for the next step, we can come here to the inside and deploy this additional stabilizer. And that right there is the base of Galvatron now fully transformed. As for the next step, we are now going to whack out the fusion cannon, and the aim of the game is to split this here into two individual components. And as I'm sure you guys all expected, this will now form the front end of the cannon. So for one final step, snap that into place.
Behold, Galvatron.
fully transformed into a full-blown piece of Cybertronian artillery, and looking to be a great translation from how he appeared in the movie, this guy is looking sick. The only part of the design that I think I would change would be the chest plate. It would have been awesome had they decided to nick the engineering that we did see from the comic edition Straxus, but in general I've always much preferred this look in comparison to Megatron's alt mode because this is just way more practical, and not to forget that this is actually what caused the demise of Starscream. You can also further fully deck this guy out by slapping on all of those additional accessories, and seeing as he is sporting some pretty wicked tires on the underside, after he's done blasting them into bits, he can then crush over their deceased remains. Blasting through some comparisons, honestly guys, this is going to be a little awkward, and it mainly has to do with the size of their cannons. Seriously, these guys are just showing off at this point. But on the right hand side, we have the original Transformers Legacy version, and to kind of go back to my earlier point, whilst I do personally prefer the look of the Studio Series version, if you already own this release, then right now I really don't think there is much need to pick this up, especially for that $55 price point. But to fly through some additional Studio Series comparisons, on the right hand side we have the now legendary 86 movie Optimus Prime. So as you guys can see, Galvatron is an absolute beast. The Voyager class Hot Rod, who was an absolute badass in the movie. I do believe at one point this guy fully transformed and tried to deck Galvatron. Then finally the super cute Bumblebee, and I'm sorry to break it to you dude, but I don't think you stand a chance. You are about to be atomized. So, wrapping up on this review for the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Galvatron. Gonna be completely honest guys, I really like this mold. I've always thought that to begin with, it could never get any better than that Transformers Kingdom Galvatron, but to now see this guy fully redecoed to resemble the actual 86 movie, he looks pretty banging. The only downside to this guy is that unfortunately he is just a simple repaint, which I really do think sucks, especially as I do believe this is roughly the 4th or perhaps 5th reissue of this exact mold, and taking into account that you are still easily able to find the original now for a discounted price, I would most definitely recommend to wait for this guy to go on clearance, because I really don't see him flying off shelves anytime soon. I would love to get your guys' thoughts on this Studio Series Galvatron down in the comment section below. What do you guys think? I want to thank you all so much for watching, and until my next review, transform and roll out!